I'm more nervous than them. Good evening, everybody. I'm only going to spend a few minutes here because this night is about your kids and about the coaches and volunteers for Ulster ladies. We've been here 6 weeks. It's hard to believe this is the final week 6 because it has flown. And the first night I saw them, I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to do this. Because we gave them chocolate and sweets and they were swinging from the barriers and swinging around the place. I thought, what are we going to do? But we always let them do what they want to do in the first night. And then that makes us notice who is the organiser, who is the timid people. And we sort of walk our way around that. Now, in an adult group, to make people move out of their comfort zone, it's very, very difficult. Exactly the same with children. We have actually made these step out of their comfort zone. Some of them's doing speeches tonight, some of them's doing wee sketches, wee mini sketches. They've been absolutely fantastic. Week 1 was the let loose, we see who's what. Week 2, we asked them when they're playing football to give us a bit of what they think about football, they give us their passion about football, and they did. My goodness, I think half of them want to be footballers until they leave school. Nobody wants to do any work, just to be a footballer. Then we asked them, whenever you're playing a game, what do you like to hear? So they told us about the negative stuff they hear from the sidelines and the positive stuff they hear from the sidelines. And it was fantastic to hear them, and they wrote it all down. So we prepared wee tiny scripts, and I mean, it's only maybe 50 minutes tonight or an hour, but honestly, be very, very proud of your kids today because they have worked very hard. We've ate them, we've laughed with them, we've told them to be quiet. They're very, very good in the night. We've told them to be like mice and they'll get a slice of pizza when they're finished. But congratulations. Honestly, these are our kids, are our future, and you have done an amazing job with them. Either the arts or sport will keep your kids a healthy future, so well done. And I'm going to let the girls take over now, and I mean it, they're taking over the whole night, so be prepared for wee shocks, wee bits and pieces, but honestly, be very proud when you see your child walking on here tonight. They're absolutely fantastic. Thanks everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have spent the last 5 weeks growing in confidence, learning from each other and learning more about each other. We have done lots of inhibition exercises. These took us out of our comfort zone and enabled us to stretch ourselves that little bit further. We hope tonight you will enjoy our short but relevant presentation and a nice cup of tea. We thank you. First up are our under-13s who have had a group discussion about their thoughts on voices from the spectators and coaches when they were playing a match.
Yes, when asked about the shouting from the sides, we had actually very mixed answers, but we really wanted to know what made them perform better, hearing someone shouting a negative statement or someone shouting positive statements. You're in for a treat. Put your hands together for our lovely under-13s. Thank you.
Once in a while, I act like a child, to feel like a kid again. It gets like a prison in the body I'm living in. 'Cause everyone's watching, quick to start talking, losing my innocence. Wish I were a little girl without the weight of the world. Remember the time we sold her for wine, got by ingratitude. The worst they could do to you was check your attitude. Yeah, when fights were for fun, we'd water and guns and a place we could go. How we lost hold of home, I guess I'll never know. I Stop thinking lives can win, let's all grow up.
We looked at the negatives and positives from our teammates, and this is what we came up with.
What's wrong, Lily? I feel awful, Alexis. It cost us the game. I passed the ball straight into the opposition instead of to Daisy, who was free. Whoever shouted your granny could get better than that wasn't far wrong. She probably could, and she's 80.
I don't listen to those comments anymore. I just focus on playing the game that I love with my teammates. That's what our coaches Rachel and Joe taught us.
You know what, Alexis? You're right. Thanks. You're a good teammate.
Now this hasn't happened in my team, but sometimes teammates can be cheeky to a fellow teammate when they've had a bad game.
Are those your dad's boots?
Call Cinderella. Her coach is a pumpkin.
And she keeps running away from the ball.
What's
What's happening here, girls? Why is Yara on her own in the corner? I'm really looking forward to hearing this. Macy, Danielle, Daisy. I'm certain every girl in this changing room has had a bad game at one time or another. If you haven't had a bad game, then you're not playing right. When I say give it your best, and you give it your best, that's all I expect. But bear in mind, your best will differ each time you play. For instance, your best will not be the same if you have a head cold or a tummy bug, or you're feeling bullied or left out. But if you have given it your best, you've played well. Use free, run a lap. Take that face off you. You've done your best today and you should feel proud. I'm more concerned about the behaviour of your teammates.
We've learned about different types of behaviour. Aggressive, passive, indirect aggression and assertive behaviour. I'm sure you all know aggressive behaviour. Shouting, pointing, shaking a fist. And I'm sure we've all done this. Passive is where we do anything for a quiet life. We won't stand up for ourselves and go along to save any hassle.
Indirect aggressive behaviour we feel is one of the worst, where you totally ignore someone, you huff with them, talk behind their back, spread nasty rumours, etc. Another word for this behaviour is bullying. Assertive behaviour is where you feel confident to challenge things that are not right. For instance, if you were blamed in the wrong, or someone else was blamed in the wrong, you will be assertive and stand up for them, or asking for what you want in a confident and calm manner, even though the answer may be no. What's the correct? My name is Kaylee, and I get asked to write a monologue about why I started football. I mainly started because I saw my cousins and dad watching it, and funny enough, when I was younger I used to hate football, but I gradually started to like it and began playing when everyone else played. After literally begging my parents week after week, they gave in and let me go and join Ulster. That was 4 years ago and I am still loving this game. I've only ever missed my football training twice in 4 years and I was not happy about it. As well as the actual skills we learn and the exercise, the socialing is very important to us all. I love talking and meeting new friends. I remember the first night Phoebe joined Ulster. We instantly became friends. I would have never met Phoebe but for this game, and we've built a strong friendship and speak often in between training. I remember in primary school the girls were banned from playing football, and that still annoys me, but I have to say, teamwork is important when we are playing a game. We need to set aside any differences and play as a team. It makes it easier and more fun.
And Kelly made me come here. When I first came to Ulster in 2018, I stuck with my sister for the warm-up. And she went to the older section and I went to the younger ones. Kaylee came straight over to me and we chatted away, and now she's one of my best friends. I'd have to say thank you to Junkie because she is the main reason I'm at Mid Ulster. I was at a previous club before and didn't enjoy it, and Junkie helped me fit in. I love it because it's not just playing, it makes good friendships there too. You're lucky your dad's the coach.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. Jim's dead on.
He's dead on until you show a bad attitude or you don't play well.
Right, against you.
This is Joe. Right? Lap you.
Thank God, I've never had to do a lap.
You mean you've never been caught?
Nor have I had to carry in equipment.
The balls are the heaviest. Have you heard the earring story?
The earring story? What's the earring story?
The earring story, the one Junkie tells. You know the girl that wore the hoop earrings?
Aye, the wee girl running inside the side of the pitch, and the other girl stuck the finger in the ear and ripped the ear in half.
Aye, she's told it 100 times.
No, 1,000 times.
Aye, probably more.
And sometimes after a pint of Budweiser at the annual dinner dance, he tells it that the ear was completely hanging off.
I'm reporting here from the Mid Ulster Sports Arena in Cookstown. Mid Ulster ladies lost the match 3-1. I'm speaking to some of the ladies now. How do you think the match went? It could have went better. How do you think your team played?
We played well for having 2 players off for COVID.
What did you think of the other coaches' remarks?
Not nice.
What did you hear them shout?
You've got feet on you like a duck. Your granny could be better than that. You can run faster now, people's home.
Well, that's all for today, folks, from Mid Ulster Sports Arena in Cookstown. And remember, not all coaches are like some as we had here today.
So you're reaching the end of our presentation, and I hope you've enjoyed it so far. I suppose my job is to tie up any loose ends and thank a few people. But first I would like to remind us all that COVID affected every one of us without exception. From our point of view as players, we felt a great loss of freedom. Our training nights, our matches, our socialising with friends was a big loss, and it did affect our mental health as well as our physical health. Thank goodness for technology where we could make contact through text messages, phone calls and Zoom, but it wasn't the same. I know that adults also suffered. Their lives were turned upside down as well. Hopefully we have overcome that big hurdle and we can begin to get back on the treadmill of life again. I would like to pay tribute to our coaches, volunteers and parents. We wouldn't be where we are without them. Our coaches are brilliant. Someone once said, a coach is someone who gets you to do what you don't want to do so that you can be who you want to be. I have the greatest respect for all our coaches. You taught us to show up to training, to practice, focus and be part of a team. You also taught us to work hard for our goals and reach for our dreams. Thank you. To our parents who have to sort out the kit, sort out the lifts to and from training and part with a few pounds to keep us doing what we love, thank you. To all the volunteers who make training nights and more happen, please remember volunteers are priceless and we really appreciate everything you do for us. And last but by no means least, there's Junkie.
She didn't really want to do this, but I think she deserves a massive round of applause.
A huge thank you have to go to Elaine for taking the time to organise many different aspects of our Sport NI Come Back Stronger programme. I think we can all agree that it has been a huge success to date. I think it's only fair that we all show our appreciation with a round of applause.
Reach for the sky, hold your head up high for tonight and every night. Close to the sky,
had to finish it. Here we go. As we bring the curtain down on the children's voices and the head of the game workshops, we'd like to finish with just a few acknowledgements. Thank you to Sport NI for giving us funding to allow us to do so many different projects throughout the club, culminating in this, and this really has challenged a lot of our girls. They've been absolutely super, putting them totally outside their comfort zone. Girls, you've been absolutely super, and it's definitely a comeback stronger project, so thank you, girls. Thank you, parents. And in this here, parents are pivotal in keeping a club going, because we need you to bring your girls to the club. We don't have girls, we don't have a football club. And tonight in particular, we'll have to call out Anya's daddy, because it's his birthday. And he was supposed to be away for the weekend, but he changed it to be here tonight to support Anya and our girls in the club. So, happy birthday. It would be remiss of me not to thank Carol, Tracy and Tony here within the hub for hosting the youth club workshops. The girls have had the best of time. Every night we've came here, the administrators have sat out there, and the amount of laughing and roaring and cahoing has just been unreal. Not to take it away from the amount of sausage rolls and pizzas and marshmallows and chocolate. Folks at the club, we hope you have enjoyed having as good a time with our girls as we've had with you guys, and we can't wait to get back doing more. Again, individually within the club, there's too many people to thank on an individual basis. So as the girls have done throughout the night, you know, we want to thank everybody that ensures the club's successful. So all the volunteers, administrators that'll be up tomorrow morning from the crack of dawn out at the sports arena on Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, at least 5 nights a week, you know, making sure that the development centre and everything runs on to allow the girls to play football. Thank you, because we wouldn't have a club without you. I looked through Google because it wasn't good enough to make up a quote of my own, and I came across a quote from a man called Todd Wolfson, who's a basketball coach, and it was a quote that sums up clubs and volunteers. So I adapted it slightly. Sorry, Mr. Wolfson. So the best coach or club isn't always the one with the best players. It's not always the one with the best rankings. It's not always the one with the most wins. But what the best coaches and clubs are those that do more with less, who change the lives of athletes, and in our case, our young people, for the better. But more importantly, we teach the importance of character and being strong and being resilient. And at this stage, I'm going to move forward because there's a wee slight surprise for everybody except one person in the room. Tonight, we are finishing off with Daisy, who up until last week wasn't and wouldn't speak in a public setting. Let's go, Daisy. Nice
Every one of us are super proud to be members of this club, and we know that we are surrounded by people who simply want to be the best we can be. Both of us and both on and off the field. We will all continue to do our best to make you, our parents and all the coaches at Ulster Ladies, proud of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. That's a wrap.
There's a cup of tea for everybody outside there. Please have one. I cannot believe that Daisy done that tonight, because that was unbelievable. I see your mum crying there too. That was totally unbelievable. I don't know how you got her to do it. That wee line that she done, we were just so proud of her. So, oh my God, that's how far your kids can move when they're encouraged. You know, encouraged and tell them they're brilliant, and because they're absolutely brilliant kids. Go and have a cup of tea, folks, and be very, very